Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to another Pause and Pray. The other day I was at a local coffee house here getting some whole bean coffee for Christy and I to enjoy in the mornings at the rectory, and it's the holiday season, so it was busy. I was waiting in line, and I overheard a conversation between two women at a nearby table having coffee together. They were talking very honestly about how this time of year, these holidays, are not always joyful and happy for everybody. For them, they were sharing some pain around strained family relationships, both strain that came from physical distance between family members, and also the strain that comes in just kind of tension when relationships aren't what they could be or should be. And they were talking about the pressure this time of year. You know, you see the Hallmark movies or the beautiful Christmas photos and the Christmas cards that people send, and you realize, boy, my life isn't like this at all. And one of them was very kind. She was inviting the other one to join her and a few other friends. She said, join us for Christmas. We have this great little group. We get together other holidays too, but this time of year, she said, we call ourselves the Island of Misfit Toys, because we're all sort of broken souls, and all of us come out of some broken relationships. But it's always meaningful and wonderful when we get together. And you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like, and if not, that's okay too. And as I listened to their conversation, I found myself grateful for the ways in which they were able to honor the darkness that some of us face this time of year. And that darkness can take many forms, not just strained relationships, but that was the darkness for them. And how they were able to find in honoring that darkness different forms of light in the midst of it all, and in connection with different people, and the meaning of that connection, at least in that group that calls themselves the Island of Misfit Toys. Today is December 14th, and on the church's calendar, we lift up Juan de la Cruz, or St. John of the Cross, a Carmelite, a Roman Catholic priest, born in 1542, died in 1591. And when John became a priest, he set out on this mission to want to reform the church and his religious community, the Carmelites, to more authentically reflect the gospel and gospel love in the world. And as you can imagine, that wasn't always popular with those in positions of power. And John spent much of his public ministry kind of ostracized and put into exile, imprisoned even, for the work he was trying to do in reforming the church. And yet in the midst of all of the darkness John found himself put in and imprisoned by, out of his life came this deep wellspring of wisdom for anybody on the spiritual journey. John of the Cross is revered by mystics. He wrote all of this poetry and deep and profound and life-changing works of spirituality. People continue to flock to this day. One of his works is called The Dark Night of the Soul. And it's a work that honors the dark nights our souls go through. It reveals to us that faith isn't magic. It's not a fix to everything in our lives. That if we have faith, it doesn't mean we're not going to suffer or struggle or hit all sorts of obstacles and bumps along the way, but rather honors the dark nights of the soul as places that God is able to enter and shine some new light into. And in that example of John of the Cross, you and I are given a very welcoming invitation to pause and pray today, especially if we find ourselves journeying through some dark nights of the soul this time of year, whether that's strained relationships or addiction or grief or anxiety or depression. It's a reminder to us that if we're going through some dark nights of the soul, that's okay. It's called being human. That life isn't always or seldom going to look like a Hallmark movie or the Christmas card photos that might get sent to us by others. But today we're given an invitation to honor the dark nights of our souls by offering them to the living God, and then honoring the ways in which God is able to enter the darkness, not necessarily to take it away, but to find a way to shine some new light and growth within it. Advent peace and blessings to you all.